Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. I watched this movie yesterday. I'm getting into the habit of when I'm watching these movies again to review them right after I see them. So that my mindset is right after seeing the movie, and the prequels I haven't seen for a while as a whole. The most recent Star Wars movie I saw was The Empire Strikes Back, and that was probably about a year ago. And that was before I started watching the prequels again. I saw Attack of the Clones yesterday, and upon rewatching The Phantom Menace, my review for that movie is up. It wasn't as bad as I've heard about it being and as people telling me it is. And prior to watching Attack of the Clones, I had a friend recommend to me this book. It's called The Approaching Storm by Alan Dean Foster. He's wrote quite a few Star Wars books. It is a story that takes place during and just before Attack of the Clones. He told me that if I read this book and then watch the movie, it'll fill in some gaps. I'm not sure what gaps those would be. It talks a bit about Anakin and Obi-Wan's meeting that before, because when this movie is so confusing. When it first opens, when you first see Obi-Wan and Anakin, they're going up an elevator to go and see Padme. And this book covers the events that lead up to them being in that elevator, why they were brought there, where they were before that. But the book, I might do a separate review for. In short, it's a good read. Check it out. The movie itself, I found it hard to sit through this one. Christopher Lee, may he rest in peace, what an incredible actor. He plays Count Dooku, or Darth Tyrannus. He goes by both names. He's one of the more dynamic characters. He was the teacher of Qui-Gon Jinn, who was Obi-Wan's master in Phantom Menace. And I don't blame the actors for their dialogue in this movie. Like, I understand, Anakin and Padme, they have to be together. In order for the Star Wars saga to make sense, the two of them have to be together. But it is truly forced. And I mean, you've probably seen these kinds of couples before, where one person just lays it on thick at some points, and the other person's like, oh, I don't want to do this, but then over time they fall for each other and it works. I've seen it happen. So I mean, I've been in a room where there's been some guy that's hitting on someone and it comes off really thick, and you're just sitting there going, oh, okay. But this movie has a lot of that, and the love story part of it, if you want to call it a love story, that is the part where this movie irritates me. I love the battle on Geonosis. There's a point where all the Jedi that we know of in the Star Wars movies, up until Attack of the Clones, show up on Geonosis and a big battle takes place. And that is cool. Yoda, spoiler alert for this movie. I should have had that at the beginning. Spoiler alert, because I can't talk about this movie without spoiling it. So you've been warned. Yoda gets in a lightsaber fight with Count Dooku. Some people find that really corny. I found it interesting and entertaining, and after not seeing the movie for so long, I had forgotten that scene took place in that movie, and I was like, oh yeah, Yoda has a lightsaber fight in this movie. It was okay. I like General Grievous. For me, I like him. He's a cool character. He appears in the next movie. I'm looking forward to that. I honestly had the movies backwards. I thought he showed up in this movie. And maybe I'm just remembering the movie terribly, but I don't remember him in this movie. This movie was so confusing. I really don't like Attack of the Clones. It is the one in the Star Wars saga that I could probably skip over. I would probably show a friend of mine The Phantom Menace and then go straight to Revenge of the Sith and just say, yeah, Anakin and Padme fell in love in Attack of the Clones, and that's it. That's all you need to know. Um, I don't like this movie. I don't. I'm a Star Wars fan. I have Star Wars books. I have the Star Wars movies. I have digital versions of all the movies. I've seen them so many times. And it may not seem like I know much about this movie, but this movie is very forgettable. After watching it, I found myself sitting there thinking, okay, I'm going to give a review for this movie. Think of things you liked. And I liked the creation of the clone army. I liked the introduction of Jango Fett. I liked the planet of Kamino, the Prime Minister of Kamino, all that. I just thought, wow, this is a Star Wars world. This is cool. This clearly could not be something that we would encounter every day. It feels like another universe, and that was great. I enjoyed the planet of Geonosis. I enjoyed Count Dooku. I enjoyed Yoda in this movie. Yoda comes off much better in this movie than he does in Phantom Menace. In Phantom Menace, he seems really shoehorned in. This movie, he seems to have a place. You see Yoda actually has power, that he actually has a reason to be called, wise and revered on the Jedi Council. Um, and that's really it. I do not enjoy the Droid Factory. There's 3PO and R2. You always have to like R2 and 3PO. The two of them, they're lovable characters. They're likable. And when they have some of their chemistry, can you have chemistry between two droids? When that happens, it's okay. But when this movie ended, I was seriously counting the minutes in my head, thinking, okay, I think this is near the end. I like the character of Dex. He's the person that Obi-Wan goes to see at this diner when he has a Camino dart that a bounty hunter shoots somebody. We don't really learn her name, or I don't remember it. But he takes this droid dart to his friend Dex. We don't know why they're friends. We don't know where they met. We don't know their history. We just know they're friends. Great storytelling. They're friends, and Dex just says they're from the Outer Rim and Camino, and they're friendly to you based on your pocketbook. And I like Dex. He seemed like a cool character. It's really unfortunate that he really has this one scene. I would like to see maybe. I like to think that Obi-Wan goes back to that restaurant and has conversations with Dex. But it's not enough to hold the movie together. As much as I do not like the love connection in this movie, I enjoy where it takes place. I enjoy the scenery, even though it was probably 99% CG. It looks nice. When Anakin and Padme are in this field together, and he's riding an animal, again, we don't learn what it's named, and I'm sure somebody knows the name of it. If you do, put it in the comments below. Let me know. Like it matters. But when they're in that field together, and the waterfalls are in the background, it looks pretty. I remember from being a little kid, the first time I saw Attack of the Clones. Well, not really a little kid, but it doesn't matter. Again, I looked at Count Dooku's lightsaber. When I first saw it, was bent and crooked. If you haven't noticed this, watch the movie, look at his lightsaber handle, it's crooked. First question that was in my mind was, why is his lightsaber handle crooked? Again, we don't get an answer. I'm sure there's a book somewhere, or a blog somewhere, or something that talks about why his lightsaber handle is this way, but if it's not in the movie, this movie, I don't like it. I really don't. It has some enjoyable scenes. It has a few things in it. The lightsaber battle between Yoda and Count Dooku, that's flattering. But I spent more time laughing at it than I did going, whoa, cool. Because it really looks cartoony. 90% of the fight, Yoda's in the air. Really, it doesn't make much sense. I enjoy that you actually, towards the end of the movie, you get to see Palpatine in his Emperor outfit talking to Darth Tyrannus, Count Dooku, and that is okay. You get to, and there's this little eerie theme at the end with this kind of a choral overtone to it. I like some of the music that's in this movie because it had some themes that you'd never heard before. But John Williams, he does great scores in every movie that he's ever made. But this movie, it's really hard to talk about. I do not like it. It's the one of the prequels that if someone says they don't like it, I can agree and I can have a good trash fest with it. Um, I really don't like this movie. I really don't. It gets about a 3.5 out of 10. It has a couple of enjoyable scenes, but that's about all I have to say. I mean, if anyone has a comment about this movie or wants to talk about it or engage in conversation, leave a comment below. Let me know. I'm glad to be done talking about this movie. Look forward to my review of Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3. That'll be coming hopefully very soon. I hope to be making more videos over the course of the near future. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, share this video with your friends. Thank you for joining me and come back real soon. Have a great day. Take care.